Great atmosphere. Kentucky does some really nice things. Brooklyn and that set are really good players. It took us a while to get in a good rhythm, but I really started finally offensively. Games 3 and 4 started clicking. We got our middles going, and there's some pretty good volleyball. So again, we're ecstatic. We got a win tonight, and again, in a great atmosphere and a great job by the ABCA putting this thing on, and it was a great environment. Felt it from down there, and I love the LED boards because our players are jumping over. We're getting some jump training going, so it makes it look really cool. We got to get those into Vegas. So.
Questions from the media?
Merritt, how impressive was Becca, especially late too? I mean, what was she be able to do on the court to really open things up for the offense?
Yeah, I mean, Becca played really, really well tonight, but I think what stood out to me the most was her blocking defensively. I know we were talking a lot. That was our game plan, was to shut Brooklyn down, and we knew that if we wanted to win this match that we needed to do that pretty early on, and I thought she did a really good job. I mean, it's tough being a middle, and each way she did one heck of a job. So, I mean, she's just continuing to get better day in and day out, and so I'm really excited to see her reach her full potential one day.
How much did that open up? You had a lot of one-on-ones there late in the match. How much did her kind of success and Andy's success open things up for you on the pin?
Yeah, I mean, there was at one point I literally looked at Bergen and I was like, I have so much room on the red, like you said. So it does make my life a lot easier. But I mean, they're both great volleyball players, and them being effective helps all of us out a ton on the left and the right and middle.
Coach, just your thoughts on the event itself and just having an early tough season matchup.
Well, it's very nerve-wracking playing the first match against a top 10 team, so I can tell you that. And I think our team was nervous tonight, and I felt nervous. It's just there's so much uncertainty. Plus we're playing in the Final Four venue, and like I said, the environment was really, really great. I mean, I love the fast pace, the short timeouts. I mean, it just was really moving. Of course, we challenged their punch in the iPad system on the rotation, so there'll be a referee clinic on that one. But we're just trying to make everybody better after the first match.
Lindsay, what changed for you guys in between the second and the third set? Was it something you said in the locker room, or did you switch things up?
Yeah, I think something that was really big for us was just understanding how good we can be when we really come together and we trust everybody and we trust around training and we have the trust in one another. And I think that was something that was really big. And going into the third set, we talked a lot about how great we are when we just keep playing us and not worrying about what's happening on the other side of the court. We talked a lot about in certain matchups, it's not one person versus one person, it's versus the whole team, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on is our defense, and I think that really showed tonight in our digging and our blocking. So we really came together on that, and like Coach said, our offense was a little shaky, but we kind of grew into that, and we let our defense kind of speak for it in the first couple sets. So I think coming to the third set, our offense really came alive, and our defense just kept doing what it does best, and that's what worked for us.
Merritt, there's been so much since the last time you played. There's been so much focus on Nebraska, but none of it's been playing.
Yeah.
Off the court stuff, just Nebraska volleyball, the documentary, everything. What did it mean to play?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we've been talking about a lot as a team is we were just so excited to play someone else. This team is so deep and it's so competitive day in and day out. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we're basically playing a national championship match at practice every single day because the gym is so high level. So like you said, there's been a lot of attention around it, but we've tried to block that out for the most part and do what we can on our part to kind of remain in the moment and remain present and focus on our team and what we need to do. And we just talked about in the locker room, we still are nowhere near where we can be, and so I'm just really excited for us to continue working on the little things so that we can be as good as we can be.
Hey, John, in the back right here. I know it's a while until you guys played Louisville, but to come back here and see the community Danny's had such a big part in building, just how much pride do you see the success that she's having here and what she learned from you guys?
Well, it's great. I mean, she took me to Churchill Downs today. That was really cool. So, but Danny's had done one of the greatest turnarounds in college volleyball, and what she's done with this program has been amazing. And now hosting the Final Four and all the great wins they've had. So, yeah, and Craig Skinner I hired twice. Once at once at Wisconsin and I actually hired him twice at Wisconsin, and I've hired him 3 times, and then once at Nebraska. So it's always, yeah, there's a lot of pride there.
Coach, back here, you talked about the environment a couple of times, and your program has been one of the programs that has set the standard in women's volleyball for so long. And the sports just seems to be exploding right now among young kids. What is being a part of an event like this, and what does this do? There are a million kids out there tonight. You know, how do y'all feel about that when you see this, and what it does for the sport?
Yeah, well, I'm glad those kids were out there, because I know it's Tuesday night, school's in, you know, the AVCA and Jamie's doing a great job of trying to build events to continue to build on the momentum that I think really started with the stadium match last year, and then the Final Four, and then in the Big Ten Conference, I mean, almost every arena's selling out, and it's hard to get tickets. I think I read we have 7,000 people on the waiting list, so it's happening. And volleyball is a great sport, and there's a lot of great players that are great role models for these kids as well. And you know, Lee, I thought you asked a great question. You know, that's one of the reasons I think we were a little shaky tonight to start with, because we have had a lot of distractions, and there's been a lot of stories and documentaries and things like that. All that stuff takes energy from us, and it was really cool just to kind of, you know, be in our locker room for a change, and not, well, the ESPN guys were in there, but you know, it's just like all of a sudden we could just focus on us tonight, and that's one of the reasons this was, you know, such a rewarding victory for us, and a fun match to play.
Coach, following up on the stadium match and the momentum for the sport, yeah, I think back to the stadium match last year where that was on Big Ten Network, which is available in about 45 million U.S. homes. At the same time, FS1 was rerunning the UCLA-USC football game from the previous season. ESPN has touted a massive volleyball schedule this year of 16 games, or 8 fewer than the number of college football games they will televise in week 1. What still needs to happen? What would you like to see happen to build momentum for this sport?
Well, I think we're pretty much on TV every match, so from my perspective, we're getting televised. I just think what has to happen is the ACC needs to start getting big crowds. Those West Coast schools need to start drawing big crowds and continuing to build this, you know, frenzy that's going on with women's volleyball and create the interest. And but I think it's on a great trajectory right now. The AVCA is doing their part, and of course Big Ten Network has gone above and beyond, I think, for televising, and so we're very fortunate to be in the Big Ten. And I think the Big Ten has really helped lift up the whole country in volleyball with their television support and media support and the media day we did. I mean, I wish you guys could have seen the faces on the Pac-12 coaches in Chicago coming to that media day. I mean, they were blown away. Like, this is happening for volleyball. So shout out to the Big Ten, and again, I think just let it build.
John, speaking of atmosphere too, are you gonna try to find a bugler to kick off matches?
Yes, I love that. That was awesome. That's what they do before the Kentucky Derby, right? Yeah, I tell you what, I almost found out I can buy and share racehorses today. But that bugle thing would be really cool. I'm gonna ask our band if they'll do that. That was awesome.
You should learn how, and you should do it.
How much?
Just quit while you're at it. Just quit while you're at it.
How much flexibility do you have in that back row? I think 8 different people play in the back row for you. I mean, you were able to play different players, 6 rotations. How much flexibility do you have back there?
Well, we've been trying to develop a system where if we can bring our liberos in, or our DSs, or whatever you want to call them, to give us breaks, to make plays, to create energy, because we got to play back to back in the Big Ten. We play the most of anybody, so there's going to be nights where our outside hitters are going to need breaks, and like Laney made some plays tonight that are just ESPN highlights and saves the ball, and these guys can try that, but they can't do what Laney can do. And so anyway, I just think we got depth in there, and we got people that can help us, and we're gonna continue to rotate.
Merritt, I had Olivia Babcock on a podcast recently, and when your name came up, she raved about just you and the experience of playing with you. Can you talk a little bit about how playing with Team USA just kind of informs your game and just can kind of inform your season?
Yeah, I loved Liv, and I loved playing with her and training with her day in and day out. We became really, really close really quick, and so anytime you get the chance to wear a USA jersey, it's an honor, but I thought this summer was really special because it was so high level and so competitive that it just continued to push all of us. So it was a great opportunity, and I loved training with her, and she's a goof, so it was fun to play with her and to train with her.
Lindsay, what was it like for you to finally get back out there in a real match?
Yeah, I mean, it was so super special. It's been something that has been a long time coming, working so hard, and just to be back on the court, even just with my teammates, they're the best part, and the environment, our fans, everything about it. I love playing volleyball, so just getting the chance to do that again with all the people that I love being around, it's something that's super special, and I'm so happy that the opportunity finally came back.
With that, Coach, we'll go ahead. We know you have a flight to catch, so we'll cut
Thank
it
you.
off.
Thanks for being